What's up, y'all? I said, what's up, y'all? Look at me when I'm talking to you, bro. Nah, I'm just messing with you, man. This is Knockout Boxing 86 TV, and we in here. So check this out, bro. Before I get going on today's video, y'all know what to do. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and share the video, bro. If you come through and watch the video, be sure to hit that like button. Put your seatbelt on when you hop in my car. Also, comment down below so we can chop it up and talk boxing. I love doing that with y'all, but I can't do it with you unless you leave a comment. So be sure to comment down below. And also, if you want to have me hop on the panel or you want to collaborate with me, be sure to reach out to me on my email address at knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com. Again, that email address is knockoutboxing, the number 8, the number 6, @yahoo.com. But without further ado, let's get it popping and get into today's video. And today, man, we got a legend that's very, very critical of a you know, hot fighter in today's game, bro. You know, the best welterweight in the game. We got Roy Jones Jr. being very critical of Errol Spence Jr., which, you know, I know to each his own, but I feel like, where's the objectivity, bro? And if you're going to be critical of him, I feel like it's far more fighters that you could be critical of, man. One in particular, Terrence Bud Crawford, man. So let's talk about it. Roy Jones Jr. was here in Dallas, Texas, bro. He was here in Dallas, Texas for the Billy Joe Canelo Alvarez fight, bro. Or I should say the Canelo Alvarez-Billy Joe fight. I don't even know why the hell I said Billy Joe name first. That was the Canelo Alvarez fight. Beat the shit out of Billy Joe. But anyway, bro, with that being said, man, he had some very, very, you know, harsh criticism of Errol Spence. He said that Errol Spence ain't fought no top competition. And I understand the frustration for people that's like, man, I just want to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford. That's all I want to see. I don't care about nothing else. I get that, bro. I get that, bro. But if you going to criticize Errol Spence for not fighting top competition, y'all know where I'm going with this. How the hell can you not criticize Terrence Crawford, bro? He made a point that it took Errol Spence 11 rounds to get rid of Kell Brook. And it took Terrence Crawford 3 rounds, which is a lie. He knocked out Kell Brook in the 4th round. But anyway, bro, he knocked him out in way more convincing fashion. He knocked him out a lot more convincingly than Errol Spence did, bro. He did that. His fight with Kell Brook was less competitive. It lasted for a shorter period of time, and he beat the shit out of Kell Brook. I take nothing away from Terrence Bud Crawford. But to me personally, bro, someone that's really just looking at this shit and, like, using some logic, they didn't fight the same fighter, bro. And I feel like Roy Jones Jr., with his great boxing IQ and him being the legend that he is, I feel like he being disingenuous, bro. I feel like he being a little, you know, not authentic when he say some shit like that. Cause I feel like Roy Jones Jr. knows that Kell Brook that fought Terrence Crawford is not the same Kell Brook that fought Errol Spence Jr., bro. He's just not. They fought the dude damn near 3 years apart, if memory serves me correctly. I believe Errol Spence fought him in 2017. Terrence Bud Crawford fought him in 2020. When Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, he was still very much considered to be one of the top welterweights in his division. You feel what I'm saying? He was still considered, if not the top welterweight. He was coming off of one injury that was fully healed, and that same injury gave him no problems in the fight. He still showed good punch resistance in the fight with Errol Spence, and he ended up getting stopped with the other eye. But he was still very game, very strong, and he was still acclimated to the 147-pound division. And he was coming off fighting tough competition, so he was more sharp, bro. The Kell Brook that Terrence Crawford got was one that hadn't fought at the division since fighting Errol Spence, one that hadn't fought nearly a top competitor since fighting Errol Spence, and one who was proven that when Terrence Bud Crawford caught him with the punch he caught him with, the jab hook, you know, it looked like a hook, but it came over the top. You know, it looked like a jab, but it came over the top with a hook. And I understand Terrence Bud Crawford got good power. I understand all of that. But if you watch boxing and you truly being objective about this shit, you could tell that Kell Brook's punch resistance, his heart for this shit, his mind for this shit, it was gone at that moment. He turned his back, he quit on the fight, and he ended up getting his ass knocked out, bro. He showed he had no fight left in him. We probably won't hear from Kell Brook again unless it's against somebody like Amir Khan. But he is done as far as being a top contender. And I thought he was done before he even got in there with Terrence Crawford, bro. You could tell. You knew, like, if you really paying attention, you knew that shit. And so I feel like Roy Jones Jr., man, he just got something against Errol Spence, man. I don't know if he's friends with Terrence Crawford. They might be extremely close to some shit, and so he just riding with his boy. And at that point, you know, I can't fault you, because me personally, my family, my friends, my people, I'm with my people if they right or they wrong. We'll talk about that shit after. You know what I'm saying? Once we get amongst ourselves, we're going to talk about that shit like, hey, bro, you tripping. You should have did this. Woo, woo, woo. You know, we'll do that. But in front of people, if I'm in front of some cameras or some shit, as Roy Jones was when he was saying this shit, then I'm going to rock out with him. So I'm hoping that that's what this was, because I feel like his boxing mind is too strong. I feel like he's too sharp to be saying shit like this. And he's damn sure too sharp to be criticizing Errol Spence for not fighting top fighters, but I ain't never heard him criticize Terrence Crawford for not fighting top fighters. And let's just keep it all the way 100, all the way real. Errol Spence has fought better competition, and we'll keep it at welterweight. I don't even want to break down Terrence Bud Crawford's resume at 135 and 140 because it's not as good as a lot of you think. It's not as good as a lot of you think. But with that being said, at 147, in the division that they both have been campaigning in for the last 3+ years, Errol Spence has fought the better competition. So when you say some shit like Errol Spence ain't fought top competition, if you Roy Jones Jr., then you leave somebody like me, who's watching boxing religiously, who's been following this shit for over 20 years, who just absolutely positively loves the sport. You got me like, okay, bro, if he ain't fighting top competition, what you got to say about Terrence Crawford? And then when you don't really say shit, when you just ride for Bud Crawford no matter what, then I'm like, bro, you being biased right now, homie. You being biased right now, which is cool. See, people get it twisted, bro. I don't have a problem with people being biased, because biases exist. You know what I'm saying? They exist in all of us, whether we do it on purpose or subconsciously. I ain't got no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is when you try to act like you being objective, but you being biased as shit. I don't like that shit. Like, don't insult my intelligence, right? Don't show me that you think I'm stupid by trying to sound objective. And he was trying to bring metaphors. Well, in the basketball, you know, Larry Bird didn't play with Dr. J. Larry Bird didn't want to play with Magic Johnson. You know, I want to see these guys fight. Like, don't try to play it off like that, like you being objective and shit, bro. When you should clearly showing bias, because an objective person would say, look, man, these two dudes need to fight. I understand Errol Spence has been in some good fights. I understand he fought Danny Garcia, he fought Sean Porter. I understand all of that. I understand Terrence Bud Crawford was undisputed at 140. But to me, those two need to fight because they are clearly the two best welterweights in my opinion, and that's the fight that I want to see. If you say some shit like that, then can't nobody argue with you, right? Can't nobody knock how you feel. Even if they think Terrence Crawford will watch Errol Spence, or they think Errol Spence will watch Terrence Crawford, whatever side you on, you would have no problem with somebody saying that shit. But where you lose me, if you Roy Jones Jr., is when you say some shit like, Errol Spence ain't fought no top competition, but you don't say shit about Terrence Crawford and his resume in the competition that he's fought. You feel what I'm saying? Like that shit, you lose people. You lose somebody like me. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with Roy Jones Jr., bro. Legend in the game, obviously, bro. One of my favorite fighters of all time. You know what I mean? Looks like he's a great trainer. You know, looks like he's done some good work, some solid work with Chris Eubanks Jr. But in this instance, bro, in this situation right here, he's sounding like a hater, bro. He's sounding like a hater, like he biased, like he got something against Errol Spence. I don't know what it is. Maybe he tried to talk to Errol one time and Errol just gave him the cold shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they got into it behind the scenes and there's some shit that we don't know about. Or maybe him and Terrence Bud Crawford are just like very, very close and best friends or some shit. Because for you to say some shit like he said in this interview he just did at this weekend, bro, it got to be something like that. It got to be that you just like, yo, I'm team Terrence Crawford all day. That's the only thing that it could be, bro. That's the only explanation for him letting that shit come out of his mouth, bro. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. Y'all be sure to check that out, man. Roy Jones Jr., you know, I got questions, bro. I got questions about how you view in boxing and what you consider top competition. You feel what I'm saying? I really do. Because if your name ain't Canelo Alvarez, right, who I've been critical of, but at the end of the day, we talking about resumes and fighting top competition. Canelo Alvarez and Manny Pacquiao, if you ain't them two, bro, as far as careers go, who's fought better fights than Errol Spence Jr.? You know, once you get through Canelo Alvarez and Manny Pacquiao, you start to look at resumes like Errol Spence. You start to look at resumes like Teofimo Lopez. You feel what I'm saying? As far as fighting people that are at the top of their division. Canelo hasn't been doing that the last 3 and 4 years, and that's my knock on him. You know what I mean? And I've made that very, very clear, and some of you get mad at me for it. But at the end of the day, I got to call a spade, bro. If you going to say Errol Spence ain't fought no top competition, you need to be going all the way in on Terrence Bud Crawford, bro. And that's just the God's honest truth. You feel what I'm saying? If you going to say the shit that I said about Canelo Alvarez, you have to also criticize Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, which I do. And so that, like, Roy Jones, man, like, come on, bro. If you biased, just say you biased, but don't try to give us this interview. Don't try to give us, you know, like you dropping jewels, you dropping gems and shit. Like we ain't smart enough to pick up on what you doing, bro. Just say, look, I'm biased, bro. I'm gonna answer the question. I'm biased as hell. And it's gonna lean heavily towards Terrence Crawford's favor if you ask me a question about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, because that's how I'm coming. Just say some shit like that, bro, and we'll respect that shit more than this shit that you just did. But y'all comment down below, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, put your seatbelt on when you hop in my car. If you come through and view the video, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below. Also, if you want to have me hop on the panel and collaborate with me, reach out to me on my email address, knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com. That's again, knockoutboxing, number 8, the number 6, at yahoo.com. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and watched this video. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, we out here. Peace.